There we are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Frog Stocks. Nothing I say is financial advice. Entertainment purposes only, not financial advisor. That just took forever to load my Streamlabs. But anyways, I wanted to do a show, stream this morning, whatever you call it, just to talk about my thesis on where the overall market is going in the future. Mainly short term, but I'm not going to do any real far out long term, but mainly short term, based on economic agenda paradigm shifts that's coming with the midterm elections, which is looking like, and I don't care if you're left or right, which is looking like it's going to be pretty much a conservative sweep for Congress and the Senate, meaning the paradigm shift is coming, change from the green energy agenda to the fossil fuel agenda, which we've all seen the impact of how increased prices in fossil fuel and production woes have caused massive distress among Main Street, blue-collar people like us, who are feeling it at the pump, at the grocery store, everywhere. Now, one of the main topics in my economics class when I was in college years ago with our teacher, who had the best economics teacher, she said, is inflation real or is it all manufactured? And in some instances, yes, I guess inflation can happen naturally, but most of it's manufactured, and I'll tell you why. When Trump came into office back 2016, he immediately started energy production in the US. Energy independence in the US was huge. What it did was it caused a disaster for OPEC. Oil prices fell to the lowest they've ever been in years. ExxonMobil stock was in the gutter, which I knew I should have bought some. But the point is that especially the Saudis got really aggravated with the US and with Trump and everything going on, because we were producing our own fuel. We were no longer buying it. Oil prices dropped globally. We saw Main Street, blue collar people, families gain more wealth in 4 years than almost ever in history. So what happened after Trump lost the election and Biden came into office is we went back to the green energy push. We reduced fossil fuel leases and production went down. We lost a lot of our energy independence. OPEC took complete control of that. Russia decided to do what they wanted to do. And since Germany and most of Europe was dependent on Russian fuel, and the rest of the world was dependent on fuel from Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, blah, 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 OPEC, right? Which OPEC is not our friend. I hate to break it to everybody in the US, OPEC's not our friend. They said, okay, you guys crushed us the past 4 years. We're going to make our money up. So we're not necessarily going to produce more fuel, but we're going to make the supply restricted, which is going to increase demand, which means the price is going to go up. So now they're selling fuel at a premium at the same volume that they would have been selling it before, maybe a little less, but they're selling fuel at a premium. They're making trillions of dollars, right? That hurts our economy like crazy. That means more money comes out of your pocket, which goes into products. Less products are being sold because the products that are being sold for more money. So you're feeling it in your pocketbook and you're starting to become a more efficient person. You're starting to scrap your Netflix subscription. You're buying whatever the news says, lentils instead of steak or whatever. But everybody gets it. Inflation and all of this, our economic distress, is all caused by the paradigm shift from fossil fuels to green energy. That's all it is. The world is not completely ready for green energy, for electric vehicles specifically yet, because the majority of the earth and anybody in it who's doing anything economically runs on fossil fuel, right? And in my opinion, I like the green energy thing. I really think they need to switch more to hydrogen. But in my opinion, the biggest problem is the countries that are producing fossil fuels outside the US are some of the most environmentally hazardous countries in the world. You have China, India, Saudi, blah, blah, blah. All these countries, they have very poor production standards since they don't have an EPA like we do. Energy produced in America is the cleanest, most efficient energy in the world. That's bottom line truth. We produce more. The fuel we produce in America, we produce it at a more efficient rate and we produce it at a cleaner more efficient burn rate, like in your vehicle, than any other country in the world. So it makes sense for us to produce it, other than countries who literally hire basically slave labor. I'm not even lying. They pay people to come into Saudi Arabia, nothing basically. They pay them crap to come in and produce oil. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm telling you this because I've been there, I've seen it, I've spent much time in the Middle East, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. I've been there, man. I've seen it. It's not good. So okay, long story short, what I'm getting to is midterms are coming up. I don't care who wins. I'm not going to talk about that. But whoever does win, there's an economic paradigm shift coming, fossil fuel or green energy. It looks like conservatives are going to make a sweep. Republicans are going to make a sweep. And with that, they will control the House and the Senate. You'll probably see Pelosi not be Speaker of the House anymore. And they're going to switch their agenda to producing energy in the U.S. again, which is going to make fuel prices come down for us because we're going to have more supply than we currently do, meaning we don't have to depend on communist countries like Venezuela, which is really sad because right now we have a mass amount of Venezuelan immigrants coming to the U.S. to flee their country because of the dictatorship there. So when our energy prices come down, guess what that does? Your pork chops, that price comes down. Your milk, that price comes down. Just basic transit, getting your products to the store is going to cost less. The truckers will pay less to get your product to the store, meaning it's going to get cheaper, meaning it's going to look like inflation is coming down. But what's really happened is it's not inflation. They've basically found a way to get all the money back that they gave us during the pandemic by saying it's inflation and that it's transitory and all this. It's not what's going on. They created a scenario where we have to pay more for our products, which is going to increase, it's going to decrease the amount of volume that it's sold in, but you're paying more for it. And that's going to allow companies to start taking in all this revenue, right? Because we're paying premium prices for it. All this revenue as fast as possible out of our pockets, which is going to go into taxes. They're going to pay a bunch of taxes on this stuff. The government's going to get their money back. It's absolutely insane. But what they're saying is it's inflation, and it's not. It's basically a forced tax on you to get the money back that they gave you, which is why people are starting to get more efficient, which is not a bad thing. Less waste, less compulsive buying, etc. So what does this do for the market? Well, if inflation goes down, they can start talking about lowering interest rates, which we saw. I think Goldman Sachs said they believe there will be a 75-point December, there will be a 50-point January, there will be a 25-point, meaning interest rate raises are starting to lower, they're starting to cool off, and then it looks like we might pivot maybe sometime after January, which would be great. So the market currently is going through this phase where we've basically, this is Tesla, let's go to the SPY. We've basically hit this bottom on the SPY, right? I was thinking it was going to go to 330 because that is the pre-pandemic high right here before we had this face-melting market rally, right? Which everybody made a ton of money on. Oh, there goes my camera. Everybody made a ton of money on it if you were in the market at that point in time. But that rally was due to nothing but retail investors having new platforms to invest with and the money we got from the government. So this is kind of an inflated sense of gain right here, which we're starting to see them take it back. The SPY is still pumping at certain times really hard, but we're seeing a pattern. You got a big pump, little pump, big pump, little pump, big pump, little pump. I think we're going to retrace back down a little bit, maybe back down to here in this range the next week. But if it looks like conservatives are going to win and it looks like we're going to have energy independence, right, which is a given with them, then I think the SPY is going to run and retest this 400 level. That's where I'm going to watch it as carefully as possible. Once it retests 400, if we don't see some type of market event, which this is bad on shorts, if we retest 400, the shorts get stuck, the meme stocks run, they're going to have to start covering. But remember, in between that, Gary Gensler has been talking very aggressively, and the news has been saying about payment for order flow changes and dark pool changes. That's the important part. So you have a couple things happening. One, it looks like the Senate and the House is going to change back over to a more a a group of people who want to do more fossil fuels in the US. 2, you got Gary Gensler talking about massive market restructuring, which he has to do very soon and very quick because he has the support of the Democratic Party right now in Congress, which they might lose seats after midterms. So he's got to push this through. So I'm not going to be surprised if we don't hear something in the next 7 days about it. And if you guys don't know what he's doing, he's talking about taking PFOF and making it an auction pool instead of market makers going straight to the brokers. They want the brokers to submit these orders, and there's an auction pool that the market makers can bid on to buy those orders instead of them just going, hey, I'll give you $1 billion because I'm the richest in town. Give me all your orders and screw the other guy. So boom. So if that happens, 1, you're going to have pressure on shorts because the front running won't be able to happen as effectively if they're doing auction pools, right? And 2, if Gensler says, hey, no more retail orders going to the dark pool, you know, if you get 100,000 retail orders and you put it into a lot to put it in the dark pool, that's wrong. If he takes orders off the dark pool, you are going to see meme stock melt up, which is going to affect the market greatly. So I'm hoping Gensler does his job and gets this done before midterms is over. But I also hope that after midterms, we go back to producing more leases and more fuel in the United States so that we're not dependent on other countries that are our freaking enemy, which is going to cause a massive influx of the market because interest rates are going to drop, right? That's going to be amazing. The prices of everything you own, you buy is going to drop, meaning you have more money to invest in the market. And if people realize that we're not going to have this insane face melting, life ending market crash, which everybody still thinks is happening and is coming, I just don't see it because the thesis is a lot of these market people from 2008, 2000 .com bubble, 1987, what they don't get is that it's not like it was back in the .com bubble. It's not like it was back in 08. We have market makers that have sold tens of billions of dollars of securities. They've sold these securities that they don't own, meaning there's no originating buying pressure, as in that market maker never bought the security from the company that issued it to begin with. That's why companies are doing share offerings. Elon Musk was the first one to find this out. He started doing share offerings, raising all this capital and cash. And what it did is it made the price go up because the shorts then had to go buy those securities that they owed and fulfill the originating buying pressure, getting rid of the price dilution. That's same thing's happening with AMC, and we're yet to see the effects of it, besides the price dilution. So what happens when Gensler does all this stuff and these market makers go, oh man, we got to start buying these securities that we owe? You know, Citadel owed $65 billion as of last year. They're going to have to go out and find these securities. Well, where do you buy them if they don't exist? Adam Aaron says, hey, I just made $5 billion ape. You guys can use these to cover the securities that you owe, and we can convert back to AMC later on, et cetera, right? So if they do that, yes, 65 billion sold, not yet purchased, causes pure selling pressure times 2. This is exactly Nada. Thank you, Noda. When a market maker sells a security they don't own, that's effectively a short sale because they never bought it from anyone to begin with. It dilutes the stock price. But here's the big problem. Say Citadel sells it to you through Robinhood. Now you own your share on Robinhood. It's an IOU. Guess what Robinhood's doing with your IOU? They're lending it to a hedge fund to short. That hedge fund has no clue that they're naked short now. That's how naked shorting works for the most part. Most hedge funds don't know they're naked short, which is a really bad thing. Causes them to over leverage, and then at the end of the day, when the volatility goes through the roof, they're stuck, they get a haircut, and they have to cover, which causes squeezes. So in that, I wonder how many naked shorts on AMC and APE there are, and exactly the point of the 13F2 filing. The 13F2 rule that's being put in place by the SEC, the comments section is reopened on that, and I have a tweet that you should go to, click on it, and email to the comments section. Dave Lauer was talking about it earlier too. 13F2 is going to require institutions that have, I think, 5 million or more in shorts to be reported accurately from now on. Meaning, we could very, very soon see short interest on AMC and APE skyrocket to levels that nobody's going to be able to explain. And they're going to go, okay, I'm talking like if they have to report this and we see AMC go to like 200% short interest, everybody's going to go, what the F? And the market makers are going to be forced to cover their positions and the market's going to melt up. You're going to see a lot. This is why they made the lending program with the DTC. They're not just going to sell all their stock off at the last minute and pay out and be bankrupt. They're going to loan the stock they own, the longs like Apple and whatnot, to the DTCC. They're going to go, here's our shares on loan at value. The DTCC is going to dip in to the insurance policy that they have and go, here's the cash, but you have to cover your positions. If they give them the cash and don't force them to cover, and these market makers try to double down, the market's going to be ruined for the rest of our lives. If they double down on this, the market's done. If they pay out the securities that they sold that they don't own, if they go and buy those and facilitate those orders, the market is going to melt up like crazy. And I think it's coming. I think Gensler knows it. He needs to get it done before Congress changes, because he won't have as much support because, you know, Ken Griffin is a GOP mega donor, blah, blah, blah. So Ken Griffin is going to them and saying, hey, we can't do this because we're on the hook for $65 billion in securities. That's almost our entire balance sheet, right? Maybe like they have $4 billion in reserve, but their balance sheet was way out of whack from their 2022 annual because they owed $65 billion in securities. So Ken Griffin doesn't want that scenario. So Gensler going in and trying to do this before midterms is probably the best thing I've ever seen. I fully support him. I hope he does it. I hope Congress and the senators support him in this, and I hope everybody in retail supports him in this, because if he does it, then the market makers are going to have to play honestly, clean their books up, and our stocks are going to melt up like crazy. And if that 13F2 ruling goes into effect, you're going to see short interest increase on all the meme stocks like freaking crazy. You don't have to report your short interest. So if they didn't cover, AMC was at like 36% short interest at one point in time, and they didn't cover, where did it go? We can't be losing and they can't be losing at the same time. That's not how the market works. If they're short selling and we're buying, eventually one has to win over the other. It can't just be nothing, which means all the money is sitting somewhere owed to people, which is probably in the dark pools. So anyways, there we are. I did a tweet. Good morning. My thoughts for the next few weeks before midterms. And I could be wrong. This is all my opinion. I'm not telling you to invest. All I'm saying, stop it. All I'm saying is, Buster, stop it. It's just the neighbor. Jeez. That this is my plan. I'm not telling you to follow it. I'm not telling you. I'm just sharing my opinion with you. And you guys are coming up with your comments and everything, and I love it. And it's just a discussion. But I think APE's going to touch 3. I think AMC's going to touch 8. Tesla to 250, which I think I'm going to buy some calls on this morning, and the SPY to 400. I really, let's just say this. If these events weren't coming up with midterms, and I didn't think we were going to start producing more oil, I think the SPY would have crashed back to 330. I think if midterms does not produce results where conservatives control both the House and the Senate, where they can say, no, we're producing more oil, I think the SPY is going to take a dump. But depending on what Gensler does, and if he can do it effectively in a timely manner, we could see some pretty good numbers. But again, on the SPY, look at the pattern that I've been following lately. Right now, it looks like we're on a really nice uptrend, which most of the times when we start a big uptrend like this, we usually have a pretty decent run. We have this rally going on, which would put us up to this top trend line in this red box, which I just put there for, you know, color in the show. But if we hit 390, 400, that might be our point where we bounce and come back down and retest this bottom again if we do. So when we test that, I'm going to be watching the news. I'm going to be watching Twitter. I'm going to be watching everything, politics. And if anything bad is happening, I will buy puts around 390 to 400 for the downside. And I think if we do have another downside there, that's going to be it before the market starts to recover for good, because we have almost refilled this entire gap. There's probably, let's see, 348 to 330. So $18 in the SPY. If we came back down to this bottom, 18 more dollars to hit 330. And if you look at every other index, they've already retraced the pre-pandemic high. Right here, see this? The Dow has already retraced the pre-pandemic high. I think the NASDAQ has too. Yep, the NASDAQ has retraced the pre-pandemic high. The only one that hasn't done it yet completely is the SPY, but the SPY has, the S&P has more baskets of stocks in it that retail seems to enjoy more thoroughly. And I think a lot more people like to play the S&P because of the SPY and the options chain. So that's kind of my thesis on where I'm going for the next 3 weeks. I do think too, back to AMC and Ape, that there is some news coming out for earnings. There's a lot of rumors going around, and you guys know I've been covering this about Disney for a long time. Adam Aron's good friends with the CEO. More and more we see more Disney events happening at AMC. Now, a buyout, merger, maybe something like that is definitely possible. Anything's possible. The AMC market cap is extremely low right now, which makes it very attractive for a buyout at what, $9, $10 a share combined, especially with a tranche full of Ape sitting on the table. You got 5 billion Ape ready to go. Disney's a big company. Ape and AMC probably have all the short interest that's not being reported. So in theory, you're looking at a company that could pull a Tesla-style squeeze. And if I was Disney, I'd be like, man, that looks like a good deal. Let us buy AMC for X amount of dollars and we'll take all these shares. And then the shorts will be absolutely screwed if that happens, because there's going to have to be some form of reconciled share count, meaning they're going to have to cover their positions. So when Disney decides to buy this sucker, if they do, the shares are going to value like crazy, and all that money is going to flow into the company. Who knows though? Who knows what's going on? If AMC is even on the table. Some people think Adam Aron is on a farewell tour and he's specifically setting up AMC to be purchased properly by a company like Disney, who's been gobbling up massive amounts of titles. But don't forget, there's 3 bonds that are callable on November 7th. So if Adam Aron decides to dip into the war chest or sell some Ape, buy those bonds back, those bondholders were yielding 24%. The best way to make sure your bonds are yielding good and valuing is to go short the stock to death, right? So more than likely, they're short the stock and they are long on the bonds. So if he buys those back, they got to go cover their hedge. They got to go cover those short positions, because when you buy the bonds back and that debt's gone, technically the value of the company should come up because you've erased that amount of debt. And now you have X bondholders that are short AMC with no hedge. So we could see some action post earnings, which also, funny enough, November 8th, 7th is the bonds, 8th is earnings, midterms the same time frame, and Disney's earnings are supposed to be the same day, if not the 11th. So we may have some kind of massive news event come out, some big catalyst. The fact is that Adam Aron could also just literally raise $2 to $3 billion out of nowhere and shock the world. Whether we got diluted or not, if he raised $3 billion, the shorts are screwed. Not even to mention Black Adam. What is the total on Black Adam now? Black Adam box office. I thought they hit like 160 million globally. It did really, really good. Everybody's talking about it. Okay, here we go. This was 2 days ago. 140 million globally. Ticket to Paradise neared 100 million worldwide, which is really good. And we're moving into Wakanda Forever, which is already sold out for November, I think 11th or 10th. I mean, Wakanda Forever is selling out everywhere for that double feature. Not to mention Wakanda Forever, we get Black Adam's going to keep running. You got Wakanda Forever that is going to pick up. Avatar 2 is going to pick up. This is all in Q4. And then Babylon. This Babylon movie is going to be good. It's more of a theatrical. It kind of reminds me of a Wolf of Wall Street type Hollywood movie back in the day. You know, it's like Hollywood back in the day, like in the 40s or something like that. But the movie looks insanely good. So you have 4 major blockbusters coming out in Q4 on the back of some really good news. And don't forget that 2023, Diane Garrett said Hycroft will restart mining, meaning they're going to be full-scale commercialized operations, which is going to be huge, because if November midterms go to the conservatives and they produce oil and interest rates come down, gold and silver is going to spike. That's great for Hycroft, which I think the timing on this that they're setting up is perfect. They've got all the studies pretty much done. They've got all the equipment. They're ready to mine. They're going to re-announce it in 2023. They still have like 150 million in cash. So Hycroft could see some very volatile price moves to the upside. And if they do, AMC values up and makes a lot of money. Not to mention that Adam Aaron said 2023, retail popcorn in grocery stores and the credit card could easily bring in, very conservatively, 1.5 billion a year, and the popcorn could bring in 250 to 300 million a year, and both of those have an 80% profit margin. I did the research. Both of those products, the credit card and the popcorn, have like an 80% profit margin. Let's just say 70 because of inflation. Let's just say 70. It's still going to bring in at least $1.5 to $2 billion total between the two of them, meaning now AMC has that much more revenue per year on the backside of the movies, and that brand is going to be out on shelves everywhere, meaning AMC will be one of the top brand name companies in the world, not that they already are. So there's that. I'm actually so excited about this. Since I was lucky enough to finally find a house here in Albuquerque. I've sold all my other properties across the United States. I finally found my house in Albuquerque. I have my land here. I'm actually considering selling my land that I was going to build on to cash out to put more money into the market before any of this happens, because I do think we're going to see some type of rally. So I have no comment on GTII. I've not even looked at the chart. I'm not in the play. If you guys are in it, congratulations. I have nothing to say on that. For some reason, I'm having a hard time adjusting to Dwayne Johnson performing a superhero role. I saw the movie and didn't like it as much. Well, Black Adam, technically, in the DC universe, is not a hero. I don't know why they did it like that. Black Adam was more along the lines of a villain for the most part, from what I remember, but I might be wrong. Maybe more of an anti-hero is what it was. I know he was always, he's the opposite of Shazam. Shazam's the hero, or Captain Marvel, whatever they call him. But all right, let's do some comments. Thanks for explaining all this. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, this is my opinion, Jason. I'm pretty good at economics. I mean, I'm degreed. I went to college, all this. But I've traveled globally. I was in the military, and I did a lot of contracting, DOD type stuff. And I've seen how the world works. So, people always assume, oh, no. Oh, MSM's saying the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. Well, they want you to sell. The MSM wants you to sell your stock so institutions can come and buy them cheaper. Their biggest thing all year is they've been saying, retail isn't selling. Retail isn't selling. Ken Griffin, George Noble, freaking multiple people coming out with freaking worry on their face saying retail isn't selling. They're worried because if we don't sell, they can't come in and buy the shares back cheaper, meaning the market can't crash, their shorts don't value, and they're screwed. Honestly, my opinion is market makers that hold trading desks are a national security threat, because even Doug Sifu, the CEO of Virtue, specifically said it in the interview from Al from Boston. He said there's a conflict here. There's a guaranteed conflict of interest. He said that. And he's a market maker with a trading desk. That's why when Gary Gensler came out and started talking about that stuff and the news came out, you saw Virtue stock just take an absolute dump. Because we know all these market makers are over leveraged and they're in panic mode. They're in panic mode. IOUs. Hello, AMC. DJ Josh Childs. Why is this clown still here? I thought I banned him from the channel. Dude's an absolute tool bag. Another troll. Another troll who lost his money and is mad about it, so he comes to harass everybody in the chat. Anyways, whatever. I'm 60 and never got into the market till early 2021. A lot of my stimmy money went into the market, learned a lot in the process. Yeah, I think a lot of people got into the market in 2021. I actually made about $100,000 from when I got in. I bought Neo at like 15 bucks, ran like crazy, made a bunch of money. And I'm not gonna lie, as soon as Obama, or not Obama, as soon as Biden got into office, I was like, okay, I'm out. Like I got out and I was cool and I was happy, but I was addicted to it. And then I decided to get back in, and I literally on most of my plays, that was the time when the market just started taking an absolute dump, and they were doing the corrections, the market corrections, which was bullshit. I think it was all manipulated. And I lost quite a bit of that. I mean, I still was around like 60, 70 thou. And then jumped into AMC back January 21, I think. January 2020, whatever. When did this all start? Anyways, January 12th is when I got in. Made that beautiful run to freaking 21 bucks. I was happy as hell. Woke up at 4 a.m. Then all of a sudden the buy button gets taken away, and boom, go to $5. And I'm like, what in the hell? So I was buying the whole way down. And then we got back up in the money. We ran to 72. I was way in the money, and I decided, we're not selling. Dips to what, like 50? I'm like, what the fuck? So we start buying more. I've been buying this entire time, and there's some points I had to get in and out because I was moving or had to buy a house or whatever. I mean, anybody who says they bought and hodled the entire time is probably lying. That's the truth of it, the hard truth that nobody wants to hear. Is that everybody who's out there going, oh, I bought another 20,000 shares. No, they got out and then they probably got back in is what happened. So anyways, totally honest, lost quite a bit on AMC so far. I still believe in the play. I think Ape and AMC are going to have their day in the sun. I could have sold at 34 when it ran, $31, whatever. I could have sold at 27 when Ape came out. I was up both times on that after I've averaged down. But here we are today. So I'm going to keep watching it. I think there are good things coming. I think the short thesis on AMC is completely scrapped. You cannot bankrupt AMC now. You can't do it. All eyes are on the market makers. We know they're selling synthetic shares. We know Ape is out there, and Adam Aron could literally raise $5 million like that. And we know that the Q4 and 2023 box office is the biggest it's been in like 20 years. Hollywood's ready to go. They're making movies. They're bringing movies out they've already made and putting them out into theaters, and it's working really good. AMC is the top brand name in the world. So, hey Froggy, I joined. Oh, where'd that go? Why did I lose that? Hey Froggy, I joined Computer Shares. You advised. I'm concerned that they are slow over there. The execution won't be rapid. Thoughts? Yeah, no, I already did a video. I sold some shares because I needed a couple grand to help my down payment on my house. And it literally, when I clicked sell, it executed the order. I got the price that I clicked at. And then a day later, the money from the sale was already in my bank account. That Computer Share was quicker than Fidelity was in getting me my money. But I got the price that I sold at for a market order. So, the movie was awesome, in between very bad, but had a heart. AMC profits covering their expenses at this point? No, AMC profits are not covering all their expenses. They are still draining a little bit of cash, but that's where, the box office is returning. We came out of the pandemic with no help. Congress said, fuck AMC, let everybody short it to death, didn't give them any protections, and closed them down forcefully, so they had to take on massive debt. It was all a big scam. Market makers wanted to put them out of business so they could sell off AMC to like Amazon, right? So it was a big scam. So the box office has to recover, which means AMC profits are going to recover. But if you look at AMC revenue, it's consistently went up month after month, earnings after earnings, and it's looking really good. And Q4 is going to be huge. I think by 2023, AMC is going to be back to its 2018 level of profits, around $5 billion, right? It's going to be extremely, extremely good because we're going to have the credit card and popcorn come out to stimulate those revenues, which means they're going to actually be cash flow positive. So 2024 box office is huge, you guys. There's so many good movies coming out. If Adam is so good for us, why is he silent? What? Oh. So he came out and said there was some 60-day thing he couldn't talk about. Everybody was saying 40-day silent period. I don't think that's what it was. He came out and said, I can't talk for 60 days. I think they filed some type of litigation against the NYSE for those ape failure to delivers. And if they did, then there is a time frame where he's not going to be allowed to talk to anybody, which makes a lot of sense. When you're in litigation and there's an active investigation going on, you do not talk, especially if the SEC and DOJ is involved, which I personally think they are. I think the DOJ is actively looking at the market makers who run trading desks. And in that, they are finding massive amounts of conflicts of interest and even quite possibly national security issues due to the markets and the financial system or national security infrastructures. So I think that's what's going on. Got to put some hashtags in here. Markets. Why did all my hashtags disappear? Here's about midterms on YouTube. That'll work. Sorry, I gotta clean a couple things up on the stream platform here real quick. Save. My platforms have been really weird lately. Twitter shadow banned me really bad, and YouTube did too. My alerts are finally going back out to everybody, which is nice. People are starting to tell me I have alerts now. So what do you think of Tesla in the short term? I think Tesla's going to keep going up short term. I'm planning. What time is it? Shit. What is the market open yet? Let me see. I'm planning on buying some Tesla calls this morning as soon as the market opens. I'm going to buy Tesla calls for October 28th, I think this Friday. I'm going to buy, I'm not too sure. I'm going to buy one call, see what happens, make a little scratch. But I think Tesla's going to go up. I think Tesla's going to take back these levels. Not that high. Where are we going here? Let's see. We're at 222 right now. I think Tesla's going to try to, you see this gap? I think it's filling this gap. And I think Tesla's going to try to peak 230. This entire spot right here, this gap down, that's got to be filled. Look at this. Boop. Up, down, up, down, up. Let's go to the 4 hour. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a nice little W forming on this 4 hour, meaning I think Tesla's going to run. If it does, it'll shoot above 230. It could run this. It's already taken back this entire drop twice, right? Boom. It's formed a little W. We took it back. I think Tesla's going to try to take off and run above 230. It's following a nice higher lows right now. I would like one more day and see a bounce off of this trend line, which would, if we did, put it to 230 by, let's see, October 28th. So that's my theory on that. Tesla, I'm going long on Tesla like crazy after I sell my property. I think Musk is going to be the world's first trillionaire. Tesla's doing really good everywhere globally. Starlink is picking up like crazy. And let me tell you this, Starlink is going to make more money than anybody has ever imagined. I'm serious. Starlink is going to be huge for rural areas around the world. Like areas where there's not high quality fiber optic internet. There's 60 million people living in rural America that literally have nothing but internet troubles all the time. And everyone is going to want to buy one. And even if 10% of those people buy one and pay $110 a month, let's say 50% profit margin, that's like $5 to $10 billion a year he's making on that. So I'm going to go very, very heavy on Tesla as soon as I get my property sold, which I hope is probably next week. I already got a bunch of offers on it. I mean, I'm going to dive in deep on it. So bought AMC at 94 cents. That's incredible. If you got into AMC at 94 cents, I was so wrapped up into the EV boom and the charger, like what was that charger company? I forgot what they called it, but I made a lot of money on that. But if I would have been watching more closely to what was going on with this meme stock melt up, I could have got into AMC at like $1.90. That would have been cool. I got into Revlon at $1.90 and we rode it to 9, so that was a good call. But lately, man, I've been off of my plays because I was locked in completely to AMC and Ape, 100% locked in, and I didn't have any free cash to go and make these other plays that I've been making lately, which was my biggest mistake. I knew I shouldn't have did that. I already had my position. I was happy with it, and that's what I think everybody needs to do. If you're going to continue to add to your position, go for it. Like, good job. But I think if you're here for a squeeze play, getting a position of AMC and Ape that you're happy with and letting it roll is the best thing, and take any other scratch that you have on the side and start flipping it in these other plays that are being called out by some really smart people just on Twitter, man. Joey Cameron's called out a few plays. BBIG, I got in at 69 cents and got out at like $1.90. I made a boatload on it. We did that same thing with Highcroft. But the thing is once you get in a play and it makes a big move and you make a lot of profit, sell and don't look back. Don't look back for a couple weeks. People make all this money and they sell, and then it drops 10% and they jump back in thinking it's the dip for the next run, and it drops back down to where it started. The meme stock melt-ups have a situation where shorts start covering, but once the shorts cover and people start taking profit, it goes right back down to that same price. People who jump back into plays too early end up losing their money. We have been tempted to sell, but have held, added a long way. That's what I'm saying, man. Look, everybody with this, oh, you sold, you're a piece of shit. It's the stupidest thing in the world. I held for 2 years and could have sold 3 times. And then, unfortunately, I get to the situation in my life where I had to sell some shares now so I could get into a house and get out of this apartment, because I nothing against apartment living, but hell, I left my house in Michigan, my house in Bama, and I got a property here ready to build, but inflation and labor and everything is so crazy, supply chain so crazy, that I'm not going to build well over. So I had to bite the bullet, buy a house. I got a good deal on it. I'm paying 6.5%, which is a little high for me. I usually get 3% on my interest rates, but that's the times we live in. But I refuse to pay an apartment complex anything over $1,500 a month. They want like $2,200 in a year. I'm not doing it anymore. That is such a waste of money. My property investments have made me more money this year than the stock market did. So when people are like, yeah, you sold, you're a piece of shit, that's stupid. That is dumb. I think it's actually hedge fund shenanigans telling you, oh yeah, whatever you do, don't sell. Personally, I think this entire time retail should have been swinging these plays. These big moves where we ran to 37, people sell, they get back in at 9. That's something people brought up a long time ago, but everybody comes and attacks you as soon as you say it. But then when we're down to $9, this entire community goes after the YouTubers and everybody out in Twitter. Oh, what the hell, man? You told me the wrong thing. You said we were going to the moon. We've already went to the moon. We went to 72, down to 9, to freaking 31, down to 9, to 27. And if you would have been swinging that, you would be a very rich person right now. That in itself is a MOAS if you played it correctly. Me, unfortunately, I decided to buy and hodl, and now we're here today. And I'm still sitting here trying to figure out if this thing is really going to squeeze due to the catalyst coming up, or if we're going to have another pump and dump. It's just your strategy, guys. Whatever you decide for yourself is what you have to do. But I get endless DMs about people stressing because they're bag holding AMC like crazy because they've never taken profit at any of the pumps. That's something you got to decide. What is your MOAS? And I hate to break it to y'all, but if you think you're going to get 500,000 a share, you need to wake up. You need to drink some coffee and wake up. That's just, that is such a black swan event. Like, the chances of the market allowing that to happen are literally nil. We will see some good stuff, but I'm telling you, if you're planning on 500K a share, you're going to end up bag holding for the rest of your life. So time to get realistic. I'm not telling you to play the swings. I'm just saying, if you would have, you'd probably be pretty rich. And I think some of the people who have played the swings are the one on here going, yeah, man, look at, AMC's great. That's why I keep pumping it, because I'm playing the swings while everybody else is buying and hodling. So yeah, it's great to be here. But going forward, I've got my position in AMC and Ape. It's sitting there. I'm probably not going to buy anymore. I'm going to start loading up on Tesla for a 2 to 3 year turnaround, because I think Starlink is going to make insane amount of money. And I don't even know if he's going to take Starlink public. I more or less think maybe he's going to merge Tesla, Twitter, and Starlink together into a conglomerate, which would be absolutely insane. Buy and hold has been a terrible strategy. AMC earnings atrocious. The buy and hold strategy is, you got to understand why that was a strategy. If you buy and hodl, you own the float. Retail would have owned the float, and we did. The problem is they can sell synthetics. So if you're buying and hodling, you're buying endless synthetics and you're diluting your own stock price. Phantom shares dilute the stock price. So when new apes come in, every day new apes come in, blah, 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 we're buying and hodling, but you're buying synthetic shares, crushing your own stock price, depressing yourself. And that's why I say, if you buy any AMC shares, buy it from ComputerShare. Because if you do, they're direct registered on the books, and we have an active reconciled share count with that. If we buy the entire, we could have bought the entire AMC float 2 times over, 3 times if we haven't by now, and we could have done it all on ComputerShare and the game would have been over. People pushing ComputerShare FUD are the most sus people in the community. I don't know why anybody still listens to them. Most of them who do it like the clowns on Ape Radio, they get on and talk about fart jokes and fisting and then tell you that ComputerShare is bad, and they don't have any market experience. You don't even know who they are. Who is the one? Tell me that. You're taking advice from a fake profile picture of Neo, and you have no idea who it is. He's from New York. For as much as you know, he could be working for Citadel, and you don't know. That's the problem. So to anybody out there who actually puts their face and name out there, Trey, Tara, all these people, Astro, all of them, I have respect for them no matter what they say, because they put their face and their name out in public and take heat from fake profile pictures all day. So it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Where's the market? Would the market open already, please? Man, I started early this morning. I shouldn't have started so early. 9:07. All right. Well, so like I said, Ape, I think we go to these levels on these stocks. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's my play that I'm doing. I'm going to buy a Tesla call this morning. AMC and Ape are sitting there. I'm going to leave the SPY alone this time. I might buy puts on the SPY if it does touch 400, just for that little bit of reversal that we'll get due to uncertainty in midterms. And we'll see where we go from there. So remember, AMC and Ape, there's multiple catalysts. I mean, there's so many potential good things to happen. Adam Aaron could have raised billions, and he's going to buy the bonds back on the 7th. Adam Aaron didn't sell a single share, and they're going to prove that market makers are manipulating the stock price, and we see a awesome squeeze after that's been addressed. They addressed the 45 million FTDs with the NYSE, and that's why Adam Aaron can't talk currently. But we also have a huge box office, and we also have 2 new revenue streams coming up in 2023. So I don't know, man. I don't see downside to AMC. I think we've bottomed out, and I think we're going to start a beautiful uptrend. And if midterms go smooth and there's not all kinds of, oh, he cheated, she cheated, blah, 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 political insanity, or some type of disaster over in Ukraine, then I think we're going to have a really good time. So anyways, I guess I could stay on here. What is it? Man, that's so far away. 22 minutes until market open. Guess we could read some tweets. PFOF needs to be banned and dark pools brought to light. If not, the world will forever be shrouded in darkness. I completely agree. Crypto Crocodile is a pretty good account, man. He says some good stuff. PFOF is the worst thing on the planet. Ken Griffin actually wrote an open letter saying how PFOF was bad when Bernie Madoff was basically running it. And I'm wondering if Ken Griffin helped put Bernie in jail so he could take over this PFOF thing, because they made it their bread and butter. Not only do they buy all your data when they buy your orders, they front run the market every time, which is why we have Hoyles and we have Max Payne, which I told you guys this week. I don't know. Yesterday was a pretty interesting day. I didn't expect that, but I said Hoyles and Max Payne on AMC for this week is $6. So unless the market makers have reversed their position, I think this week we see a little downside, a little sideways on AMC and Ape. But then next week, it's going to pop. I think we're going to see a good pop next week. even if earnings is not what we thought, if they come out with a surprise on earnings like we did in Q1 at the beginning of the year, which we thought was going to be bad, if they come out with a surprise and do better than estimates, that's good. But if Adam Aaron comes out and addresses what's going on and says, hey, we had 45 million FTDs, it crushed our ape stock, it is market manipulation, we're not going to put up with it anymore, or comes out with some bullish catalyst, then we can see some massive runs. Which I will be hosting a space call. Terrible's going to host a Twitter space call. I'm going to co-host, and then I'm going to live stream on November 8th, the AMC earnings call at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to start at Power Hour. Love earnings calls. We haven't done one in a while. I'm super excited about it. It's always good stuff. I always get way overexcited. What's going on here? So I personally think this week we're going to kind of trickle sideways, and I think next week we're going to see some really good action on AMC and Ape. Here's the space call. Set your reminders. Go to my Twitter, retweet the call, get it out there. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah, bros, just buy and hold DRS. Simple. DRS is the way, man. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to prove it any further to anybody out there. That all you have to do is go to ComputerShare, click purchase stock, buy some AMC, and 7 days later, your AMC's in there with your account. It does not take 2 days to sell, like everybody said. You click sell, you get the market price, your order goes out, and it's sold that day, that instant. You get the market price you click at, and within a day, I had my money back in my checking account. The only shares I buy now are through, if I'm buying AMC, it's only through ComputerShare. That's it. And as soon as I clear my house on the 28th, I sign for my house, I'm going to be diving back in heavy to the market. I want this property sold. I'm going to get moved into my house on the 28th. Probably going to take me a week. I'm going to come in and I'm going to start buying across the board. Tesla, I'll buy AMC, but only through ComputerShare. I'm not going to buy any more Ape because I do believe we're just buying synthetics. And I'm going to sit and hold my AMC and Ape. I'm going to keep monthly. I'm doing $100 a month until AMC goes back to 10 on its own. $100 a month in ComputerShare, just buying shares. Tesla, I'm going to load heavy on, and I'm going to probably put about $3 to $4 grand down on Highcroft Mine while it's really cheap, because I think 2023 is going to be great for Highcroft. And then I'm just going to sit back and watch the market, man. Not going to stress over it every day. Let's see if there's any news out there today. Mortgages activity. Okay, housing market. Everybody's like, housing crash, housing crash. Well, guess what? There's the big thing is housing crashes are going to be regional. They're like California is going to have a bad housing crash. New Mexico is not. We are having a mass exodus of Californians coming to New Mexico. Albuquerque market is on fire still. It's cooling off a little bit because of interest rates. But as soon as interest rates start dropping, this housing market's going to explode. The fact that I got lucky and even got a house, because most of them that go up on the market are gone the next day. They have 14 offers and they're gone. So people telling me that the global housing market's going to crash is stupid. I just don't get it. Yeah, there's probably big MBS products and lenders are in trouble, but people are moving out of the inner cities, coming to smaller cities and rural areas, and houses are flying off the market. So if they can bring interest rates back down to even 5%, there isn't going to be a housing market crash in certain areas, that's for sure. California, New York, places like that, yes, you're going to see housing crashes. Toronto, big time in Canada, big problems going on there. 15 minutes till market open. What else is going on? Rail worker union strikes again. Boeing reports loss. Let's see here. Stock market news. Boeing reports loss. Microsoft, Google shares slide. Mobile IPO on tap. What is that? How do futures look this morning? Futures are down. Yeah, like mid down. So yeah, it does look like AMC and Ape are probably going to probably hit Max Payne and Hoyles like I was talking about. Tony R, I'm in Taos and The California and Texas migration really jacked up the housing. Tony R gets it, man. Taos is beautiful, by the way. So I spent a lot of time in Taos. People coming to New Mexico all of a sudden, coming to Albuquerque, Santa Fe, all the areas surrounding. There's a lot of jobs, a lot of government work around here, a lot of tech around here. This is the new Albuquerque is going to be one of the new tech capitals. I'm surprised Musk didn't come here, to be honest with you. Running solar factories out here, and Tesla. I think there is a new Amazon factory that just got put in, but we have like Intel, lots of financial industry. But everyone's moving here, and the housing market is completely effed. As in, there's nowhere near enough houses. And now that interest rates have went up and supply chain issues, people are like making one big last push to get into anything they can find. I am super lucky that I found the property that I did, and I actually got a house, which is going to be really good because they keep raising rent on all the apartments around here. I went from a $1,150 a month to $2,000 in a 19 month period, I think. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, Hycroft is long term. 2023 is when they're going to restart mining. But they have shown that there is massive deposits, and they know exactly where they are, and they're accessible in the pit, meaning that they're not digging super deep for what they're looking for anymore. They're going to find a lot of material, and when interest rates drop, you're going to see gold and silver spike. And now that JP Morgan's being called out on their manipulation of the silver and gold markets, I think you're going to see silver and gold around it. Hycroft's going to make a lot of money. So Rum doing its thing. I played Rum a couple times. I wanted to get back in at 708, but like I said, I was locked into AMC and Ape to the max. And that's what I'm saying. I knew this was going to run again. It went from 635 to 1116, and I missed it because I was completely locked in. That's why I'm not doing it anymore. I'm keeping my AMC and Ape position as it is. I might buy $100 worth a month, just kind of like a retirement plan in my computer share account. But I'm going back to start flipping these other plays that I'm watching and have been watching. It's just silly to not make that money. Look at no AMC tweets in my feed. Nothing. That's what I'm talking about. Nothing. How is that even possible? Not one AMC tweet. That's called suppression. That is called suppression. Absolute garbage. Oh, so annoying. Back home. Latest tweets. There's one. Rachel Fit. Depression is real. Absolutely disgusting. Okay. What time is it? I feel like the market's never going to open. Might see a little drop off. Either this, it's these market opens always go like this. It either pops and then drops really hard, or it drops, it pops a little bit, and then it goes sideways. See, like we did yesterday. Pop. Yesterday was awesome. Everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going. And then we just came right back to what, a couple percent above. It's disgusting. So let's see here. 5 minute, 10 minutes till market open. My webcam is really finicky. I don't know why it does that. Like, you just touch the cable and it freezes. Probably my old ass USB ports just being wore out. I bought this Dell gaming laptop back in 2016, I think, and it still was rocking, but I think the USB ports are wore out. Dell laptops are pretty badass. Let's go to CNN Money. See what's going on there. Oh, that IPO. I don't really like getting into IPOs too much personally. Dude, CNN's webpage lately looks like just garbage. It looks like a kid designed it in a high school class. It's so bad. All right. Let's see which. Reactivate. There we go. Coke products might look different. Kanye's ever. You know when they start putting celebrities in all the mainstream media and news, something's about to happen. They're taking your attention off of something. MSN Money, is that what it's called? Try to hit all the news networks just for everybody, you know. Europe, Bourses, Edge, lower midday. Dow stocks billionaire money manager can't stop buying. I personally think it's a good time to buy. Let's see. Google parent Alphabet drops as earnings. Sales miss estimates. Oh, all the tech companies are going to miss because people are going out and doing things now. Plus, Musk is really stirring the pot with this Twitter thing because he knows, and I know, and everybody knows that with all these fake accounts out on Twitter and all these sock puppet accounts, the ad revenues, the ads are not being shown to real people. Meaning companies like, say, Coca-Cola, who puts out an ad on social media, that ad isn't reaching real customers. It's reaching fake people, meaning they're wasting money, yet Twitter and Google and all these people are still making money off of it. It's insane. So Musk's crusade to show everybody that Twitter has a bunch of fake accounts on it is going to be successful, and I cannot wait until he buys it and says, everyone will be verified on Twitter to make sure you're a real person. And when they do that, all these punks, all these shills, all these frauds that make all these memes about me and Tara, they're all going away because they're cowards. They will not put who they really are on social media. They're cowards. They hide behind anonymity, and they want to do that because you can't go and defend yourself against that. But once verification is in, you're going to see a lot of people disappear, and it's going to clean the community up, and it's going to be a really great thing. Come on, market. All right, let me get my page up so I'm going to buy my Tesla call this morning. I don't know. I hate buying weeklies this late in the week, though. I might buy it out to November. It's already this late in the week. Tesla could actually come back down, bounce. I don't know. It does look good. It gapped up a little this morning. Trade. I think I can buy a call today. Visual options. Tesla. Come on. I had to open. What are we at? We're at 219. So one call at 220 right now would be 675. One call at 222 would be, oh, come on, update the price. One call at 222.50 would be 540 bucks. So I think I'm going to buy the 220 because it's already, extremely close to that. 682. So if I buy a call at 220 for October 28th, and which is, let's see here, right here, and we close at 230 by October 28th, that would be phenomenal. That'd be a nice little weekend money-making profit. And of course, you guys want to check your Greeks. If you're buying options, you don't want your call to depreciate before close. So I'm hoping that, say we hit 225 by the 27th, then I will fucking sell my, excuse my language. If we hit 227 by the 7th, the 27th, or 230 by the 27th, maybe if we get lucky, then I'll sell and I'll make some money and I'll walk away. My big thing is when I sell my property, I'm buying a lot of Tesla stock if it's under 230. I'm gonna buy a lot, and I'm just gonna sit and hold it and forget about it for the next 2 years, because I think Tesla is absolutely gonna explode when those Starlink revenues go cash flow positive, which they will. I mean, internet is one of the biggest demands in the world, especially in countries and rural areas in countries that do have pretty good internet that still need it, but then countries who don't have good internet that really need it for information and whatnot around the world. You have so much potential with Starlink, it's not even funny. I mean, the dude's gonna be a trillionaire. I have no doubt in my mind. Just on Starlink, Elon Musk is gonna make more money than anybody can imagine. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's gonna set him up to be one of the biggest companies in the world for the next 100 years. Open, you bastard. Hycroft Green, NCMI. That's another one I'm going to dump like 5-10 grand into, as long as it's under $1, because they do a 3-cent dividend. That's the National Cinema Media. A lot of big corporations dumped the stock this past couple months. BlackRock, Citadel, a lot of companies dumped this stock for some reason, but they're doing better on earnings and they're offering a 3-cent dividend. This is the one that AMC got 6 million shares of. So there's something going on with NCMI that everybody doesn't know about. It's something in the industry, because Cinemark holds it, AMC holds it again. Now they've got it back. And then BlackRock and big institutions just dumped like their entire position, which is why it's sitting at 40 cents. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. Come on. Open sesame. Can't tell. 3 minutes. Can't tell I'm not impatient. Let's see if Mr. Muskins has tweeted. Dude has 110 million followers. Oh, we're perfect. Works on any moving land object. Enjoy high-speed, low-latency internet while on the move. Now accepting orders for flat, high-performance Starlink, which provides connectivity and motion on land. That's awesome. Starlink is going to be huge. I don't know how other to explain it. I understand the importance of plug-and-play internet at the drop of a dime. What, like $500 for the setup and then $110 a month? If we would have had that when we were deployed in Iraq, we had to order piece by piece internet dishes and sets, and then we had to plug it and put it all together in this big network. It took us 3 months to get internet up over there. It was absolutely insane. Starlink is one of the greatest things to hit the planet Earth since sliced bread. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about AMC and Ape going into the future. 2023, like I said, I did the video called AMC 2023, the Golden Age. Hycroft, AMC, and Ape in 2023 are going to be something else, man. And so is Tesla, which I consider not the same, but in a sense, I consider those plays to be equally cherished by retail, due to the brashness of Musk going against the institution and his success, and now Adam Aaron's starting to do the same. 1 minute till market open. It's good. I need to get something to drink. Be right back. Throat hurt. Let's see what she does. Let's see what she does. Ding, ding, ding. Market's open. Place my order. There she is. And there goes Tesla. Ha, 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 ha. I hope it runs like crazy today. I hope she runs. What's Ape and AMC doing? Yep, Ape, AMC, everything the same. Let's see, it looks like it's going to be a morning pump and then a dump. We'll see. We'll see how Shell plays out either way. I want to thank everybody for coming. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate it very much. I'm going to be watching the market the rest of the day. Got to go feed my dog. I'm going to enjoy the day. You guys, this was a great early morning stream. I know I don't do a lot of them, but appreciate you coming. Gave you all my thesis on what's going on. We're going to keep talking about it. We'll see what happens with my Tesla call at the end of the week. Hopefully it goes in the money because I like to make money. Either way, big things coming up. You guys hang in there. Keep your eyes specifically on the news for midterm news next week. You want to watch the midterm results. You want to know what's going on with those. Because if the conservatives do not take back over the House and the Senate and talk about producing more fuel, then we're going to have continued manufactured inflation for the next month or 2 months, maybe even a year, which means I think the market will probably actually take a dip. If conservatives get in and talk about producing more oil, then we're going to see the market improve. It's inflationary, that's it. It's not politics. If we produce more fuel, the cost of our goods are going to go down. The economy is going to do better. Either way, have a great morning. Take care. Stay safe.